Archer 32993, Concord Tower, make right traffic, runway 2, clear for takeoff.
Archer 993, make right traffic, clear for takeoff, runway 2. You got it?
Yep.
Alright, turn indicators working.
Yeah, it is still a little off, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me what you think in flight, but... Never realized the lights don't go down the white stripe.
Yep. Yeah, because otherwise they'd paint over them.
Yeah. Good point. My trim's a little off.
Into 2 Sierra November, runway 2, cleared to land.
Runway 2, clear to land, 2 Sierra November, thank you. Concord Tower, Seminole 345 Foxtrot Alpha, holding short runway 2.
Seminole 5 Foxtrot Alpha, make right traffic, runway 2, clear for takeoff. You'll be following the Archer that's off the departure end.
Clear for takeoff runway 2, make right traffic. We will follow behind the other Archer. Seminole 345 Foxtrot Alpha.
Gave him a handful to say.
Yeah.
Into 2 Sierra November, traffic to Seminole departing for Archer arrival.
Inside 2 Sierra November, thank you. And Tower 2 Sierra November, okay, I'd like to make this a long landing.
Into 2 Sierra November, affirmative.
What did he say? He wanted to make it a what landing?
I didn't quite hear him.
A long landing?
That's what I thought he said, but I don't know what that means.
He just took back off for a different one.
I mean, he's turning final right there.
Oh, that was okay. I was getting my planes mixed up then. Never mind.
Yeah, that was the Seminole behind us.
Okay. Concord Tower, Archer 993, right midfield, runway 2.
Archer 993, your number 2 to follow Bonanza, half-mile final. He's a full stop. Runway 2, clear for the option.
Archer 993, clear for the option behind the landing traffic, runway 2.
It's 33 Yankee, number 3 to follow an Archer on right down when approaching the speedway.
Alright, number 3, we'll look for the Archer, thanks to Yankee.
I've been over on this side in a while.
Seminole 3 Foxtrot Alpha, your number 3 to follow a Bonanza on left downwind.
Seminole 345 Foxtrot Alpha, number 3 to follow, Bonanza, runway 2.
Bonanza 2 Sierra November, taxi to ramp, remain in this frequency. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, sir, to the ramp, this frequency. Have a good night. 2 Sierra November.
Good.
All right.
Haven't done a touch and go in so long. Is that where that's coming from?
Yeah, it's a squelch.
Archer 993, left or right traffic, your choice.
Do you care?
Take a left.
Archer 993, we'll take left traffic this time.
Anybody has a 7133 Yankee, turn and final,
Think you heard me?
Question.
Yeah, it's fine.
33 Yankee affirmative, turn final, clear to land.
Actually, I don't know that I had to confirm anyway.
Yeah.
Well, other than my final turn, was that horrible?
Oh, we're good.
I overshot.
Interesting that the lights are really good on these.
Yeah, I
and not so much
wish
on the rest.
I wish my airspeed was a little better.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I can't really see that.
Yeah, well, I know that that straight across is 80.
Okay.
So I've learned, I've learned where the important one, and I actually learned that watching one of David's videos because he was showing me something on his television. I'm like, I can't read that. And he's like, well, straight across is 80. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. Altitude up. Yeah, that's the important one.
755 straight off of the Bonanza, just touching down. Runway 2, clear for the option.
Runway 2, clear for the option. Someone 345 Foxtrot Alpha.
It's actually probably about 85. It's straight across, but that's,
It gets the point.
pretty close. Gives you a quick glance of.
It's 33 Yankee, taxi to ramp, remain this frequency.
Taxi to the ramp on this frequency. Thanks for your help. 33 Yankee.
Concord Tower, Archer 993, midfield left downwind for runway 2.
Archer 993, extend downwind, your number 2 to follow, Seminole 2-mile final.
Archer 993, extend downwind, we have traffic in sight.
Archer 993, acknowledge.
Archer 993, extend downwind, we have traffic in sight. Button is.
Yeah, I don't understand why they put like such small buttons in there.
Yeah. Think you heard me, or you think?
Yeah, it got it
Okay.
because I saw the T,
Oh, okay.
so it was transmitting.
I'm glad you saw. So it lights up when you transmit. Okay.
Yeah, when you transmit, it'll have a little T right there.
That's a good thing for me to know. I did not know.
I know on ours it'll also have an RX for receiving.
Okay.
We'll look, see if it has an R as well for receiving. Another way to double check if like maybe you turn down your volume or something and you try talking to somebody and you see
Gotcha.
the T showing up and then you see the R showing up but you're not hearing
hearing it.
anything, then you can check your volume.
I'm all crooked. Usually I can tell when the button isn't engaged, but I didn't.
Yeah, because you sound a little different. It's like you get louder.
That time it definitely was. Well, need some good spacing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Archer 993, you can start your base, runway 2, clear for the option.
Archer 993, clear for the option, runway 2.
It's not going.
Archer 993, clear for the option, runway 2.
There it goes.
I guess I might as well just wait till we get on final to do much.
Yeah, I would pretty much just turn it all the way in.
Spin this thing around and see if I can get it to. I see Sonic, I'm hungry.
Concord Tower, someone 345 Foxtrot Alpha would like to take this one into the ramp, please.
Now when you're this far out, you can turn just about any time. And,
action rent, remain this frequency. Have a good weekend.
To the ramp with you. You have a good weekend as well.
I still overshot. I snuck in when we were on our downwind.
So here, when you're way out, you can kind of start the descent once you get the 2 white, 2 red.
Okay. Well, I got 4 red, so.
Yep. So we're underneath, so we'll just kind of work our way towards it.
Try to keep it pretty level until we see it. Plenty of airspeed and almost holding altitude, so. Pretty up here.
Yeah.
I'm not terrified yet, so.
That's good.
There's one. Down. There we go. I've grown to really like the manual
Yes.
flaps.
They are really nice.
I wouldn't have known any different. No. I mean, you feel like you're really. The turn indicator at all.
And it doesn't show level anyways.
No, that's what I was going to look at, actually. That was not my best. I let my airspeed drop at the end. You normally stay in left unless he tells us otherwise, or do you call?
Yeah, you just stay in left.
Okay.
Unless told otherwise.
Every instructor I've worked with has a little different, you know.
Echo Tower, Gulfstream 480, Juliet, visual 2.
Gulfstream 480, Juliet, Concord Tower, runway 2, cleared to land.
Runway 2, clear to land, 0 JJ.
I would say it probably depends more on the actual guy in the tower than it does.
That too, but.
Because there's one guy, he'll always like tell you, oh, report left downwind, like right after you take off.
Right.
And then some of them, like, you know, they don't say anything, and it's just assumed unless they contact you.
Well, and that's the one guy I flew with, he's like, you don't have to tell them you're midfield unless they tell you to. I'm like, well, everybody here does that. So I felt like you said, it's expected even if they don't say it. But he said, no, if they don't say it, don't do it. I'm like, well.
Well, the midfield I would have, you know, if they don't say anything, then report it, because.
Right, well, that's what I meant.
You don't want to start turning base, and
well,
maybe he just forgot.
That's what I thought, but he was like, no, if they don't tell you, then, you know. It's like, we got to tell them sometime. Was my thought, anyway. So the lights at this airport stay on, right? You don't have to flip.
Archer 993, your number 2 to follow, G150 on our right base. You can extend downwind or make a 360.
Archer 993, we'll make a 360 and come back into the pattern. Is that all right with you?
Yep. Yeah, he's out over there, you can see him. Yeah, take your time with it.
Something different. It was fun. My first, was it the day I soloed, or was it when I? Oh no, it was another time I came out. And I was the last plane before they switched wind direction. So it was kind of like, will you just go somewhere and come back?
Oh yeah.
It was like, oh, that was fun.
I think we did a flight right after that.
I think we did, or either I ran into you. You were definitely out here.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I've had that happen once too.
It was just like,
He was like, just fly out, do 180.
993, just go. But they didn't give. It was just like, just go west and come back. It's like, okay. And all the other planes, there were 3 planes behind me. They all had to turn around and go.
Yeah, I saw them all taxiing
So it was
down.
like, that was awesome. I didn't have to do that. And you
Yeah,
did.
there he is. He's turning final right now. Right where the big tower is.
Yep. Where'd my school go? Okay, we're pretty much on it, aren't we?
Yeah, just coming over it.
Yeah. Concord Tower, Archer 993, we're re-entering the downwind, runway 2.
Archer 993, traffic to follow is a 1 mile final. Caution wake turbulence, runway 2, clear for the option. The traffic ahead is a full stop.
Archer 993, we have the traffic inside and we'll watch out for wake turbulence, clear for runway 2. Do we need to allow much extra spacing, you think, or?
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
But it's definitely not the biggest plane in the world.
No.
If it was Allegiant, that'd be different.
Yeah, I came in behind a Airbus one day. He was doing his Johnny Carson impression.
That there,
Behind that
Airbus.
Airbus. I'm like, I see the Airbus. He was like making me say the word Airbus.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I see the Atlantic traffic. Boom, you see that Airbus.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll say that there, Airbus in the air.
He didn't do that for me. Plane has a little hesitation if you get the RPM below about 1500.
Concord Tower, helicopter 436, Charlie Mike.
I tend to,
I got the 436 Charlie Mike, Concord Tower.
Like if you try to put power back in.
yeah, I mean, it kind of like, it hesitates just a little bit, so I tend to try to go to 16 or 15. I try not to go below.
I got 6 Charlie Mike, report 1 mile
Initially,
east
'cause I feel
for
like-
landing, runway 2 in use, wind calm, altimeter 2991.
2991.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. That's why,
Set up a downwind
you
for
know,
02.
sometimes students, they'll just like jam in the throttle right up
Julia,
on
I don't-
touch and go.
I mean, this freak.
And then it'll be like,
To the ramp this week.
I don't
like,
like
no,
it.
just
Yeah, I
nice
don't
and
like
smoothly
that.
apply it.
Well, that seems to be where they teach it. Reed was like that. He's like, no, you just go. I'm like,
Yeah, don't jam in it because it
I don't-
hesitates and you're just gonna waste more time.
yeah, I do too much with cars. I like to respond to what the engine's telling me.
Yeah. You know, and I'm sure the engine appreciates it.
Well, I don't know about that. This Pappy light seems super conservative. It's getting dark now. Well, that was fun.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice landing on this side because it teaches you don't see those trees.
Right.
Even though you know they're there.
Yeah, you know they're there.
It just goes to show that, you know, at nighttime you gotta be careful.
And I guess the Pappy lights.
6 Charlie Mike, extend downwind. Traffic is a Warrior departing.
Focus for a minute.
On the go for 6 Charlie Mike.
Stop talking. So those Pappy lights, are they assuming you're touching down where they are?
Yes.
Okay, so where we're landing,
6 Charlie Mike, you can start your right base, clear to land taxiway Alpha Alpha 5.
we are low compared to.
Yeah, start right
Yes,
base for Alpha Alpha
Thank you.
5 for 6 Charlie Mike.
Yeah, they typically go to the 1,000-footers.
Right.
And that's why all the professional pilots, the career pilots, they all land on the 1,000-footers because that's where those lights take
Okay,
them, and
yeah,
they always
that's fine.
follow those all the way
I
in.
just, as I'm coming in and I see, gosh, I've got 4 reds, but I feel great, and then, I don't know that I'd ever actually confirmed. It felt really dark that time, but I trusted the airspeed and I just looked at the lights and hoped I was where I thought I was. So. And the plane lands so much better when the yoke isn't getting hooked on the transponder.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I can only imagine. Dave ever say if his landings got better after you guys fixed that?
Well, you know, I think it got. See,
Yeah, 6 Charlie Mike, turn on Alpha.
I don't think he flew it as much as I
Charlie Mike, you
did.
can contact Unicom.
At every landing, it was getting worse and worse. So
I haven't, but I think my compadre is.
when he came out and felt it, he could feel it. But he never. He was trying to give me the plane as much as I wanted for my training.
Yeah.
Concord Tower, Archer 993 midfield, left downwind for runway 2.
Archer 993, runway 2, clear for the option.
Archer 993, clear for the option, runway 2. I see the T now. So.
Yep.
Here's the runway. Okay. That is a little harder to see, the threshold.
Yeah.
See the blue lights, sort of, but it's...
Yeah, because the lights on the runway are all directional.
Yes, yes, yes.
They don't really see them off-site very well.
Go-kart tracks were full a little earlier when I was up here.
Yeah.
Just now getting to the point where I can look around and enjoy myself a little bit.
Yeah, that's always nice. Not death gripping the yoke anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, the descent rate is hard to see too. I probably don't use that as much as I should, but
Yeah, I wouldn't. Honestly, I consider that the most worthless instrument there is.
okay, good. Just when I'm getting a feel for, okay, what RPM should I start, my configuration, that kind of stuff, but it's certainly not one I stare at.
I would never recommend even looking at it.
Okay, well.
I try to avoid even telling students things that involve the VSI, like, oh, you want to have like a 400 or 500 foot per minute descent as you're coming down from the pattern, because then they fixate on that, and that instrument lags behind by about 6 seconds.
Yeah. Well, like I said, as I'm sort of getting a feel for what's an appropriate RPM to start my configuration, it was helpful, but it's not something I look at a lot. I'm high this time. For me, I'm high. Wow, 2 nice ones in a row.
On the center line and everything.
Calm tonight. I guess I should fly at night more often.
If only you couldn't see.
Well, yeah. Is that 4?
That is 4.
Concord ground, Archer 219 Alpha is in front of Charlotte Jet with information. Mike, ready to taxi. Jeff Archer South.
So my partner David, he out of the whole thing,
Archer 219er Alpha, Concord ground, runway 2.
he did not like night flying.
Really?
I don't know if it was, the instruments weren't lit in our old plane. All you had was this little thing that shone down, and the landing light was like horrible apparent. I never flew it at night, but he just said he did not like it at all. So hearing him talk about how horrible it was, I think I was probably more nervous than I should have been, because so far this is fun.
Yeah, I enjoy night. It's weather's calmer. Typically the radios are more quiet.
I mean, he was like, I'm never going to fly at night, or never going to fly that plane at night. And after this little bit of flying, I'm like, I could see flying somewhere at night. This is, I would probably want to fly to an airport I knew.
Yeah.
Not just go exploring, but someday maybe. I did my dual cross country, I got cold, so I had to turn the heat on. The heater really works in these things.
Yeah.
I was like...
I remember ones at ATP, you'd have to be careful otherwise you'll burn your leg.
Yeah, I mean, I was freezing because I was dressed like this, you know, It was warm when I left, and I finally realized, if I got heat, I flew at 6,000 feet from Winston to Hickory.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm cold, and so I warmed it up, and then it was like 2 minutes, and I was on fire. So,
yeah, it's either hot or it's either cold.
Of course, I'm not as familiar with all the knobs as I should be, but at that
Archer 993, runway 2, clear for the option.
Archer 993, clear for the option, runway 2. At that altitude, you got plenty of time to play around with things, you know. That was a fun flight, though. 3 of us came in to Hickory back to back. And I was way above the other one, and I like just, he was like, the other guy was like, I'll slow down and let the Archer have a little space, and he's like, well, he's doing about 40 knots more than you, so I don't think you're going to have to slow down. And
what was he, like a Cessna?
No, he was another, I think he might have been another Archer, but I was so much higher than him, and even my descent was, you know, my ascent, I was going really fast. Not intentionally.
Hey man, happens.
It's
always nice to be faster than somebody else.
When we were first making our calls, we were like at the same location. I was just above him, and before I knew it, I just flew right in. We all got straight in approaches, so.
Yeah, yeah. Because they always use, what is it, 2-4?
I think it was 2-4, but I'd never landed there before, so I was like, I think this is the right one way. When you don't actually see the pattern, you know, it's a little bit like I hope I'm going to land on the right runway. Be like Harrison Ford. The other one is hard to see because of the trees, so
yes.
I guess it was 2-4.
But you know, they would swing you out for that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're close enough at an angle that, and with the winds and everything, and like I said, I'd never been there, so I was just sort of, like, I think if we were all 3 lined up for the wrong runway, he'd probably tell us. I think he would. I think that was full flaps. It sort of did that slip thing. There it is. I think I can power it down this time. little bumpy. Yeah, I like the engine to take the power very smoothly, so
Yeah.
I'd rather take my time a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't make a difference in the long run.
When I went up earlier, I forgot to turn the alternator on. And I was going down the runway. I mean, I was taxiing, and there was a beep. And I'd never done that before, but I learned.
Well, at least it's got a warning.
No, it was beep. I'm like, I don't know that beep. What is that? And I noticed it was low, but it a lot of times it's not that high anyway. The gauge. And he put this little voltmeter in now, which is nice. It's just a plug-in USB plug, which is really handy to have. And it was still at 14 volts, but it would have eventually started dropping. But now I know. I learned a new. Pay attention. Stop talking.
Archer 993, runway 2, clear for the option.
Archer 993, clear for the option, runway 2.
Yeah, because it's a separate switch, right? From the battery.
Yeah, there's two. Yeah, they're side by side, and I had just somehow got one and not the other.
Yeah, I kind of like how the Cessnas, they have the battery master and the alternator switch kind of in one.
Well, and that's what I'm used to, so I think it was just old habits creeping in, but
pretty convenient.
But as soon as I hit it, everything jumped up and.
Hey, okay.
Oh. That's why we have checklists, and
yep, that is true.
Even with a checklist, it's easy to.
I parked next to a guy a couple days ago, and I saw that his beacon light on his tail was still on.
Still blinking?
Yep. I told the line guy, I was like, you might want to find out whose plane this is because his light's on. Battery's going to be dead. I went out on a flight, came back, and I went on my next flight. It was off or something, but the guy was going out to his plane just as we were leaving.
Right.
And he got in it to start it up, battery was dead.
Yeah. Well.
He had to go get a GPU hooked up.
Yeah, and those line guys don't seem to love jumping planes off.
They do not.
I've had to do that once. And the guy hooked the battery up backward on our old plane. Which, that was his fault, but still.
Yeah, we have some of our Cessnas, they require a 12-volt adapter. And we're like, we need to jump on this plane. It's 12 volt. And the guy was like, we don't have a 12 volt.
They use the truck for us. I mean, they actually picked the truck up, but they couldn't read the terminals, so it was right.
Yeah, we told him like, well, yeah, you do, because we just had this happen yesterday, because the battery on that plane was just dying. I was like, I don't know. Let me ask someone else.
But they used the truck for me. It's just they couldn't read the positive and negative very well.
Yeah.
They hooked
just
it up,
mixed them up
backward, and kapow, it didn't. Yeah, it was just like, and I guess this plane's like that too. You just gotta hook it up just like an old car.
Yeah.
It's not got a fancy plug. Actually, this one might have a plug. I'm not sure.
Concord Tower, Archer 219 Alpha, holding short of runway 2, ready for departure.
Archer 219 Alpha, Concord Tower, right turn approved southeast, runway 2 clear for takeoff. The other Archer at the departure end is staying in left traffic.
All right, runway 2 clear for takeoff now, 219 Alpha.
Yeah, so did you even notice him holding short of the runway?
I didn't that time, no.
It's just an example of why you leave the strobes off.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
And some people will turn like the landing light and stuff off too. Just kind of go completely dark except for your nav lights.
All right.
So that way you're just not a distraction at all. But it's just kind of a courtesy thing. It's not like a set rule.
That's not something I'm going to flunk on my check ride?
No.
All right. I got enough problems to worry about. So.
Well, you're not going to be flying tonight anyway, so you should be all right.
That's true.
I mean, you know, it's weird. It's just like, you know, cars. You do all your training and stuff mostly in the day, and then it's just take your test in the day, and then it's just assumed, hey, you're fine to do whatever it is at night.
Else, yeah. I know all the from the written and the studying, to take passengers at night, you got to do the landings. You got to.
Yes.
I mean, nobody's checking that you did it, but there are extra hoops to jump through.
Yes.
And you got to do it regularly. So.
Well, only if you want to take passengers.
Well, that's true, but you know.
The thing that tricks people the most is they think that 90-day rule applies to them flying at night. It does not. It only applies to you flying passengers at night.
Right, yeah.
Some people think, oh, I've gone 90 days, I've got to fly with an instructor to get current. That's not the case.
No, I did understand that correctly from the studying, but like I said, I mean... Concord Tower, Archer 993, midfield left downwind for runway 2.
Archer 993, runway 2 clear for the option.
Archer 993, clear for the option, runway 2. I really like the extended flap range on this plane. The Cessna's like, you had to slow down a lot.
Yeah.
It seemed like it to me.
Well, it's like on ours, it's 85 knots, but for at least the white range on the airspeed indicator. But it's actually 110 knots for flaps 10.
Right, yeah.
They just don't show it on the airspeed indicator.
didn't have the power out like I thought I did that time.
Well, that's the nice thing about a low wing, it'll still come down.
Oh yeah, no, it came down. Been a little nervous. The idle on this thing was set higher than it was supposed to be. I guess with the new engine, maybe they did it as a precaution. And we had them drop it down a little bit while we had it in the shop, and I hadn't really flown it that much. But David said the first time he landed with it that way, it dropped
a little bit more
suddenly than he expected. So, you know.
What is it idle about?
Well, I think it was at 800. I think it's supposed to be 600. Now we've got it at 700. Is what I was told, but I haven't.
Yeah, I was gonna say
haven't sat there and
657 is
right. Yeah, it was pretty high before.
All right, one more.
One more. Where will we go for the cross country?
Asheville.
Asheville?
Yep.
Okay. No, I will.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about like officially planning it out or anything.
Right.
Like being nighttime.
No, I want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to at least see what I'm getting into.
But you can definitely, research your frequencies and things like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Don't worry about waypoints or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, the first couple cross countries I did last year, just as learning, not planning on myself, just doing them. Going to an airport the first time, like going to Winston-Salem with 2 runways, and just having done no planning, I had no idea which way was east, west, north, south. It was just
intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't want to do that. I don't need to be perfectly. And with the built-in GPS,
Archer 993, runway 2, clear for the option.
Archer 993, this will be a full stop, runway 2. So yeah,
Concord Tower, Snoopy 2.
Snoopy 2, Concord Tower.
We're by the campus just outside of the Delta, 1,300. Look to be inbound for a few patterns.
Snoopy 2, you're number 2 to follow an Archer on left base. Do you see him?
In sight.
Snoopy 2, number 2 to follow the Archer. Runway 2, clear for the option. Wind calm. Altimeter 299 or 2. The Archer's in left traffic. You could have left or right, your choice.
All right, clear for the option, runway 2. And if they're staying in the pattern, we'll take right traffic.
Archer 993, start your base.
Archer 993, turning base. Did he not already clear us?
He did.
Okay.
It's just more so for the helicopter.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's just right there off our right.
If he'd have waited 1 second, he would have seen his turn.
Yeah, their screen just kind of lags behind.
I know, yeah. For ADSB now, they should be able to read my mind.
You would think.
Snoopy 2, you still have the traffic in sight?
Yeah, Snoop 2, affirm.
Hear that little hesitation?
Yeah.
I was pushing the throttle up, but it went down a little first. I don't like that. It always goes. It just that little bit of a. Little bit of lag. I can find a taxiway.
So, That's what the yellow lines are for.
Yep.
So you keep on rolling, you say,
see,
okay, here's my sign delta, so then you start looking in the middle for your yellow line to take you off the runway.
Gotcha. Conquer Tower, Archer 993, we can make delta to the main ramp, Archer 993.
Archer 993, taxi to ramp, remain this frequency.
I see it now. Kind of confusing the first time. Archer 993, delta to the main ramp.
Yeah, so the yellow lines, both runway and taxiway, are actually for nighttime.
You know, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're actually meant for daytime, and they're just to help you get off the runway.
Right.
They're not supposed to help you get on the runway.
Interesting. Okay.
Even though
so you don't have to feel like you have to follow those to the exact.
Nope.
I didn't know that. That also helps clear up why they're painted black around that yellow, because it makes it stand off more.
Yeah.
Do you see any humans out here?
No, you probably won't. We'll just go to the right here and then park on the far left side of the darker pavement. It's always a little hard to see at night.
I've always kind of wondered why it's even like that.
Right
There it
there.
is.
So we'll just turn in left here shortly.
I see the shine.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm sure, especially after it's been a while.
Well, just the night was fun. I really enjoyed that. How far up? Somewhere in there?
Yeah, it's fine.